I think the kind of the big thought, and this might get into some of what we talk about later too, but obviously I always had Vikings thoughts, but my brain was kind of going to the quarterbacks and the contrast between like what was it the the last several, I'll just put it this way, the last several quarterback draft classes versus this year's quarterback draft class, and it seems like this year has been a real hit. Caleb Williams is doing a lot better than I expected. Um, Jaden Daniels is playing phenomenally, and Bo Nix is playing better than I expected. And I guess we haven't really seen Michael Penix. Drake May seem to be playing like at least mediocrely for being on the Patriots, who aren't very good. But he seems like he could really develop into something that they have there. Um, and and I just in my gut feel like JJ McCarthy is going to be really good. Obviously, we haven't seen him play. He's in a really good organization. He's got an incredible mind mentoring him. He's being coached actively even as he rehabs his injury. So he's watching everything that's going on now. He's getting the full like Patrick Mahomes bench the year and then starting the second year. So it'll just be interesting. I guess the thing that I'm coming away from this week with everything else that happened as well, it'll just be interesting to me to see the storylines unfold about like the Bryce Youngs and the Anthony Richardsons and um, Justin Fields and some of those really young quarterbacks who have recently been benched versus this year's draft class. And, obviously we'll have to wait a couple of years to see how all of that evens out. And I hope some of those that have been benched get a second opportunity. But that's a really fascinating storyline.
Yeah, I agree. And it's been exciting even just thinking about JJ McCarthy. We saw him like what, a game and a half in the preseason.
Yeah.
I was going to call it training camp, but in the preseason and probably looked the best of all the rookie QBs in the time that we saw him. And I know that doesn't mean a whole lot. Like there's plenty of guys that look really good in preseason and then don't turn into anything. But just seeing, Caleb Williams coming around, he started off kind of struggling. Jaden Daniels, clear front runner for Rookie of the Year right now, and potentially an MVP conversation. And then who's the other? Oh, Drake May. Yeah, Drake May has done well. Bo Nix, even as low as seeing how low Bo Nix was rated of all the QBs and just seeing what he's able to do has me excited as a Vikings fan for seeing what JJ McCarthy can do next year.
Yeah.
And particularly because O'Connell has a very strategic plan that he's bringing McCarthy through, and just how will that pan out? Obviously, maybe it turns out to be a bust. But for a long time, obviously we didn't have a podcast going in previous years, but it just drives me crazy, the pressure and the expectations that we put these young QBs under.
Yeah.
And why do you hang the future of your franchise on a young QB, and then you shaft him the first year with all this pressure and expectations? It doesn't go well, and then you bench him, and so you're sending him through a emotional and mental ringer that just has devastating consequences. Yeah, I'm with you. It's exciting to see how everybody's doing. So some highlights from the week that I was thinking about, just some quick ones. That Hail Mary from Daniels was incredible.
Yeah.
That's the second. Is that the second? Because Rodgers had one a few weeks ago as well.
Yeah.
Second Hail Mary that turned out. Although poor Stevenson, I think it was, the number 29 with the Bears, who got cut. Did you see that on camera?
He was kind of like mocked.
He was taunting the crowd.
And then if he would have just kept taunting the crowd, it would have been
They probably would have won the game. But
it's that
oh, that's
classic
just a bad.
moment where you get caught kind of your mind is kind of wandering, and so now you're trying to really quickly make up for lost time, and you go and
Yeah,
do something that is just messes it up, and it's like, man, if you had just been lasered in, maybe you actually could have.
yeah. It really kind of exposes the haphazardness of Hail Marys. Like
Yeah,
there's a strategy to receiving it. I forget the guy who caught it with
Noah
Washington,
Brown.
Noah Brown. Like he purposely hung back there to catch the
Yeah,
bounce.
yeah,
Why would you not defend that as well? Like, but
yeah,
all the defenders are just like jumping up and
yeah,
and then it makes you wonder like why not, and we've seen this with Darnold on Hail Marys, why not pressure the QB? Like when you
yeah,
know they have to make a deep throw, just pressure the QB, force him to
yeah,
get it out fast. But
yeah.
yeah, I mean it was a fun way to end the game, and it helped me get another win in my. I was almost perfect this week in picks, so it was it
That's
was
amazing.
fun. I'm also
I
another highlight from the. Go for it.
Oh, I was just gonna say this might be a hot take, but unless you're watching the game live, Hail Marys are kind of boring. like
Yeah,
like it was an incredible throw, no doubt. And the strategy was great, like get behind. But like I feel like there if Hail Marys are successful, they're often kind of fluky. And
yeah,
it felt a little bit that way here, where it's like just a little bit better defending, and that wouldn't have been a catch. But
yeah. It's like
maybe I don't know ball,
the moment in an NFL game where it looks like just a bunch of church guys out playing football.
Yeah,
It's just like
yeah, exactly.
make a big wild throw and everybody
Whereas
jumping around and
if I had been watching that game live, you have the buildup, you have the tension, especially if you're a Commanders fan. You're like, oh man, we're gonna.
yeah,
It's like the Minneapolis Miracle. Um, like I watched that live, and I was like, oh, season's over. We have 10 seconds left on the clock, and then it's just like the play itself is not that athletic. Like it's just a defender missed his hit, and
yeah,
Stephon Diggs was wide open, and but like because of what it meant and the tension that had been built up and everything, incredible play. I'll remember it forever. But
yeah.
if you watched it as a highlight, it's like what you know. Uh,
The thing that's exciting about it is the call as much as anything. Like
yeah,
hearing the commentator give the
yeah,
and the stadium erupt and stuff. But
yeah,
yeah, no, that is Daniels is definitely the Commanders as a whole. Even just the fact that they played tit for tat to Chicago's defense, like the thing that I've been skeptical of the Commanders all season long is their defense, and here like nobody scored 20 points, and
yeah,
I think the Bears have had a pretty easy schedule, but they've been scoring a lot in that easy schedule, and so the fact that the Bears, I got to give Dan Quinn his dues and recognize that their defense is actually
yeah,
significantly better than the guy who replaced him in Dallas. So
yeah. That's true.